Hello everybody, welcome to Bit by Knit with me, Jenny. I'm coming at you here today in Canada, on the west coast of Canada in BC, beautiful British Columbia. I'm glad that you could join me today. Thanks for being here with me. Today I just have one finished object to show you, plus 2, 3, 4 works in progress, plus a kind of finished object. It just needs to be finished with the stitching, but otherwise it is complete. So I will kind of show that in the finished objects portion, I guess, because I'm not gonna probably close it until I've finished all of them and do it all at once, just because it's a bit of a process. It's just kind of nice to do them all at the same time because it's not a long amount that needs to be finished. So I might as well just stack them up and do them all together. Anyways, yes. And then I also have two purchases, acquisitions that I'm going to share with you as well, because they came yesterday, which is very exciting because I wasn't expecting it yet, so I get to share it today. So anyways, let's get started with we'll start with our finished objects. I did forget to mention in the last episode that while I was making the yarn cozy, which is my finished object, while I was making the yarn cozy, I didn't mention that the yarn had been unraveled and just re-knit with. I didn't bother getting all the kinks out of it before I started using it again because it was just going to go into a yarn cozy. I had used this yarn initially to make a Musselburgh hat, and I made the whole hat before I realized that it was just far too big for my head. You measure the size of the hat as you go, so your gauge swatch is the hat. And I think I'm really tight, especially in the crown going down, because I'm using magic loop, and so just my stitches are really tight around that, and my gauge was off. So by the time I met the amount of increases I was supposed to do with the gauge that I had determined was correct, it was too big. And I could have just undone the whole thing, frogged it, and then re-knit the whole thing, but I just wasn't in the mood to use this yarn for that again. It was kind of bumming me out. So I chose to do different things with the yarn. I made 2 pairs of socks with it, and I'm making a couple of yarn cozies with the rest of it. 2 pairs of socks? I might have gotten 3 out of it, actually. I can't remember, at least 2. So anyways, the yarn cozy is done. It was from unwound kinky yarn. I'm planning on blocking this so that I can show you guys the difference of a pre-block and a post-block with yarn that was used while it was still kinked from being used in another project to what it will look like when it's all, hopefully the stitches are settled. If you're hearing clinking in the background, it's my kid. He's home from school today. He's 6, so you might be hearing some background noises. That's just him having his late breakfast. Yeah. Anyways, this yarn is from Bramble Ridge. It's her hand-dyed yarn. It is a 85 superwash merino and 15% nylon. And I'll come up close with the yarn, and it's in the colorway Duck. I'm using my phone as my camera because I don't have an actual camera, so if that wasn't clear, I will also be putting pictures up of everything that I'm showing you today, and everything will be linked down below as well for the patterns. So this pattern is from Melina Franken? Yes. Melina Franken, and it's a free pattern online. You can find it on Ravelry, and it's a very nice project to make with scrap yarn, and it's perfect for putting your yarn in, especially if you're a center pole knitter like I am. Okay, so this one is my almost finished object. It is finished. I just, like I said, I have to weave in the center, and I actually might have to tink back a row or two because it might be a bit too wide here. It's kind of folding in on itself, and I don't really want it to be an edge when I knit it together. I want it to be nice and flat, or crochet it together, I should say. I want it to be nice and flat, but this is my pot holder. This is a pot holder by Beverly, and I'm going to butcher her last name like I did in the last episode, so I'm just going to call her Beverly Q. And it is her pot holder, what did she call it? Fold on itself pot holder, I think is the name of the pattern. And it's also on Ravelry, and I'll link it below. Here is a picture of my pot holder up here, but I'm going to bring it up nice and close as well. This yarn is Knit Picks yarn. Oh, I'll show this too. This is the part I'm going to be stitching together. So it just needs to seam it. And it has a nice little hook handle thing to put on so you can hang it from you know, your stove or whatever. And this is the yarn I'm using to stitch it. This yarn is Knit Picks yarn. It's their Dishy, which is 100% cotton. I don't think I mentioned that last time, but it's 100% cotton. Anything you want to make that's kitchen related, like dishcloths or towels or pot holders, you want to use cotton with that. And it's actually really nice cotton. I really like this cotton. I've made a few of these for myself, and I've put them in the wash and the dryer, and no problem, it doesn't shrink, it looks great. Actually, I've got, you know, by chance, I had to wash one the other day. Yes, I had to wash my own the other day, so this is mine. It's a little bit wrinkled because I don't deal with my laundry right away after it comes out of the dryer, so it just kind of sits and gets wrinkled. But this one is one of mine. It's a little bit smaller. I think I might have done less stitches, or it might have shrunk a little bit. It totally could have. It still is a good size. And it's mismatched because I was combining colors. But like, I'll show you my stitching here. I did a knitted stitch instead of a crochet stitch. Like it's the, it's that common one that you use when you have to seam your shirts or whatever together if you are doing your sweaters in pieces, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now. But I did that stitch for seaming mine, and I actually really like it. So I think I'm gonna do all of them like that, because I think it calls for something called a whip stitch, and I could be saying that wrong, or that could be wrong. Whatever the stitches that the pattern is calling for, I don't think I've done it before, but I've done the seaming stitches on sweaters from knitting, and so I tried it on this and it looks great. So I think I might just do that with all of them because I know how to do it, and it's simple, and it's actually really satisfying because as you're like yarning them in and you pull it to tighten it and it like seams it all together, it's a nice feeling. So that's the Turn On Itself Pot Holder by Beverly Q, and one is done. And going from that into my works in progress, I've got another one started. So this is kind of how it looks. It's really messy. This is how it looks when it's in the process of it. So you actually are crocheting it like this, but then as you're going, it just folds in on itself and you get the points kind of going like this. And then it will eventually work this part all together, and then you just seam it closed. So that's how it looks. And this is, oh, I also wanted to say, I did that's the wrong word. I weighed this after I finished it because I actually thought it was going to be one ball would give me 2 pot holders, and it might have if I made them smaller, but at the size I'm doing it, it's 40 stitches that I decided to do. The pattern I think calls for 30, but she's like, do however many you want. She just prefers 30 for herself. And so I did 40 because I do like a bit of a bigger pot holder, because you're putting like pans on it and stuff coming off the hot stove. You just really want that surface area covered from your countertops. So I do make mine a bit bigger. So anyways, it used up 3/4 of the ball of yarn, and I bought 4 of them. So I'm going to get like 5 and a bit out of all 4 balls. I'll get 5 and a bit, which isn't ideal. I really wanted to have 6 of them because I have, I think, 3 people I wanted to gift to, so that's like 2 each. So I might have to get some more, which is okay. It's just kind of, you know, you kind of want to get it all in one go, and I have to buy a bit more. But they are fun to make. They're very easy to make. They're quick. They're mindless. Yeah. So that is my first work in progress. My next work in progress is the Oslo hat. I was saying like Oswald hat, I think, in my last episode, which I don't know where that came from. Oslo hat by Petite Knit. And I'm almost done. I started my decreases, and so I just have a little bit more to go and it's finished. And I still have a really large amount of yarn left. I think I can probably make a second one, which I might do and gift it, because it's a nice, easy, quick knit, and it's again like a good mindless knit once you get past the brim to just do with like a show on or something. And so anyways, this is the hat so far. I'll bring it up nice and close for you guys. It's a beautiful, fuzzy, warm kind of more looking hat, I guess. And the yarn I'm using is, so the mohair is from Autumn and Indigo Fibers, and it is their lace mohair. It's 70% kid mohair, 30% silk, and it's the colorway Umber. I did try to find this company to link it down in my description last episode, and I couldn't find it, so I wasn't sure if they are no longer in business. Like, I went to the website that's on their label and I couldn't find it, so I don't know if they still are in business or not. Same with the other one that I'm using, because like these yarns were gifted to me, so I'm not really sure how long the person who gifted to me had it. So Yeah, I don't know if these are available anymore. But this one is from Valhalla Farm, and it is their farmhouse sock. It's 100% superwash merino, and it's the colorway Tequila Sunrise. So that is the label for that one. And I should show the label as well for the mohair. Yeah. I'm using my Knit Picks circular needles. I believe it is size 3.75. Yep, 3.75 circular needles from Knit Picks. And I will hopefully get this done before my next episode and show you this as a finished object. Okay, my next work in project is actually work in progress. It's actually one that I don't think I talked about at all last episode for a potential work in progress with. I have a book. It's called Knitting with Disney. It's a Tanis Gray book. He's made several of these. I actually have 3 of them. I have this one, and I've got the 2 Harry Potter ones. I don't know if there's any more than just the 2 Harry Potter ones, but I do have the 3 of them. And so I got this one and one of the Harry Potters for Christmas last year. I had the other Harry Potter one from a few years ago because I just happened to find it at Costco of all places, and I had to have it. And he's got some really cool designs in here for like colorwork patterns and stuff. And it's like really, it's just beautiful to look at. And I might not make all of the patterns in here. Actually, I know I will not make all the patterns in here, but there are several that I do like and hope to be able to knit. And so I started one because I had bought this yarn probably back in January or February with the intention of making the thing I'm making with it. And I finally got around to starting it. So this is only my second colorwork project I've ever done. I did a hat a few months ago. I finished the hat, and this is now my second one, and it's a cowl. It's called The Colors of the Wind. Colors of the Wind, yeah. Colors of the Wind cowl by Tanis Gray. And in his version, I'll actually show you the picture of his here quick. In his one, he's got the colorful part on the outside and the leaves are white, which looks beautiful, but I really thought it would look cool to have the colors as the leaves and the background as the white. So that's what I'm doing. I've got my leaves coming in colorful and my background is white. And I'm using Knit Picks' Chroma yarn. It's worsted weight. It is 70% superwash wool and 30% nylon. The white is called Bear. And the kind of rainbow colorful one is called Pegasus. It's very beautiful. This yarn is actually, it's super soft. It's so lovely. It's gorgeous. There's only one thing that I didn't realize when I bought it. It's not twisted. So I'm going to bring this up close for you guys to see. Let's see. It has no twist to it. So it makes it very catchy when you're knitting. You can easily split into it, catch it. It's just, you have to be really careful when you're knitting with it. But this is what I have so far. This is it so far. And it's pretty, I don't know, it's okay, but you can see the inconsistencies of it with it. I'm hoping it will block out when I block it, but I'll show you my floats so far as well. Whoops. Don't drop it. Oh, there are some of my floats so far. Hopefully it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good for my second color work. There's definitely some that are a bit more fabric or yarn that I needed to for stretching it, but it's not too tight, and that's the important thing. So you don't want it too tight or else it puckers. So I don't think I'm making it too tight. So yeah, every time I'm, like as I'm knitting it, I really have to watch that I'm scooping up the whole strand and that I'm not catching a different strand or a different part of that strand as I'm unhooking it around my needle. So it's a bit of a, you just have to be more considerate, I guess, when you're using it. But I did go onto their Ravelry page and somebody did use the same yarn for their Colors of the Wind cowl and it looks gorgeous. So I'm really happy that I'm using it. I just wish it was twisted, because I think it would be a lot easier to knit with. And I also think if it's not twisted, I'm pretty sure it will pill faster, I think, is what I've heard. So I might, and it's just a cowl, so it's not like I'm rubbing on my arms or anything like that. So I probably won't have to worry about it too much. We'll have to wait and see. I do have like a de-pillar razor thing, so it can be dealt with. It's just, you don't want to have to do that if you don't have to all the time, you know? Anyways, I'm using my Cumulus circular needles, and I'm on a 5, what am I on? Yeah, 5mm needles, Cumulus, and it's coming along. I've got my chart, like the book has the chart in it, which I obviously not gonna be able to show, but it's a written chart, and it's not repetitive really or intuitive that much. I think I'm gonna get into, like, some of it is. If you notice the triangle area, that's definitely repetitive, and I could just keep going and not have to look at the chart for that part, but for the leaves, they're not so much. So it's really looking at the chart kind of focus. And I'm not going to show you the inside of the book, but I'm using an elastic band to mark on the chart where I am. So every time I finish a row, I just move the elastic band up to the next row. I'm also writing down the rows that I'm on, just in case my elastic band gets shuffled too much and I lose where I'm at. It's also written in the book, so I've got like 2 sources to hopefully keep me on top of where I am, because I wouldn't want to miss. It'd be really sad if I, missed a row or redid a row or whatever, and I had to go back, and I probably wouldn't go back. So it just have something not quite right in it. And I think I've only so far messed up once. I've had to tink back about 10 stitches to correct part of the color work that I did wrong, so it wasn't too bad. So that's coming along. It's probably gonna take me a while. I don't think I'll be done this too soon, but it's for the fall, so it's okay. It's my focus project. Alrighty. My last work in project is my Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit, and I've got a good amount of it done. I finished the I-cord. I finished the I-cord for the neck. I got that done. I did one of the sleeves. So I'm going to put a picture of me wearing it up here. I tried it on last night before I bound off the sleeve and did the I-cord. And it was down to my wrist. Without stretching it or anything, it was down to my wrist. And so I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And it wasn't at the length that she said to do it in the pattern. So I was like, oh, I still have like this much more to go before I am supposed to do the I-cord. And I'm like, I feel like it might be long enough. So I tried it on and it was long enough. So I did the I-cord without going the full length recommended in the pattern. And then when I tried it on today to take some pictures of it, it's not quite long enough. It kind of reaches to, it's like a bracelet length, I guess, which is okay, but I was hoping to go down, like hit my wrist right at the hand there. So 2 things I'm thinking. I'll probably do the same length on this side, do the I-cord and then block it. And if I still am not happy with how long it is, I'll probably still have yarn left over, so I can just take the I-cord out and knit a little longer. Or blocking it will fix the problem. So we'll see. I don't want to block it now because I really want to just start on this sleeve and get it done. It didn't take me very long to do this sleeve. It took me just a few days. I'd say 2, maybe 3 days of like straight up knitting the sleeve. It's not a lot of time, but you feel like it is because you're like, this should take me 1 hour and the sleeve should be done because it's such a small amount. It's so much smaller than the body, but it doesn't. It takes a while. So I just want to get to this sleeve and get it done because I don't want to be stuck on second sleeve syndrome or anything like that. So this I finished late last night, not late, but enough late that I wasn't going to start the next sleeve. So I'm hoping to get this started today so that it's just a mindless knit that I can do in the next couple of days and have it finished and then block it. And then by the next time I do another video, I will hopefully know what I need to do. If I have to undo the stitching or whatever, we'll see. But I think it should stretch down pretty good. Yeah. Anyways, there it is. I think it's turning out really nice. It's so soft, it's so comfortable, it's so warm. I was worried that I wouldn't have enough yarn left over enough yarn to do the I-cord for the neck and the both sleeves and the I-cord, because the I-cord takes a ton of yarn. But even with that sleeve done and the I-cord around the neck and the I-cord around the sleeve, I still have, each of these are still pretty full. So I definitely have enough to do the second sleeve, and if I need to add more length to the sleeves, to do more length. And if I don't end up doing more length, I think my plan is if I have a good amount, oh my goodness, there's a hair in my face, I'm sorry. My plan is if I have a good amount of this still left over, then I'm going to maybe do another Oslo hat because I'll have this yarn, plus years ago I thought I would get into dyeing my own yarn. It sounded like such a great idea. And so I bought some bare yarn and I bought some dye, I bought all the supplies, whatever. And I dyed up 3 balls of yarn, 3 hanks or whatever. And it killed my back. It hurt so much. I'm like, I can't do this all the time because it hurts my back way too much to be bending, and I don't even know what it was. So I have those 3 dyed. I balled them up and everything, and I have them still sitting in my storage for yarn. So I thought it would look really cool with maybe combining with this into an Oslo hat if I've got enough left over. So it's like pretty minty green. This is my solid one. What I did was I dyed up 2 of them and I made it speckled, and then with the remaining dye water I threw in another skein and just let it absorb it. So I don't know, it might not match very well, but it might look kind of cool together. I'm willing to give it a try. What do you think? Here, I'll bring that up close. I think I'll try it if I have enough left over. Why not? Might as well. I need to use that yarn for something. I still have I think I still have 6, maybe 5, because I used a couple in a sweater just bare. I think I have 5 skeins left bare, plus when Knit Crate was around, one of their boxes was 2 skeins of bare yarn, and they sent along some Kool-Aid mixed with it, because it was to dye your own yarn with Kool-Aid mix. I never did that, so I still have that yarn too. And this one is like a BFL. I think it's 100% BFL, and I got it from Knit Picks. It was just their bare yarn. So that's my thought on that. We'll see if it works out. Okay, so that is all of my works in progress, I'm pretty sure. And now I want to show you guys some acquisitions. I bought some more yarn from Knit Picks because I think in my last episode I told you guys that my Cumulus blouse that I'm making was supposed to be a different sweater, and I ended up frogging it because I wasn't happy with how I couldn't read my stitches to make the pattern correctly at the start of it. So I decided to buy a lighter mohair, because this one's Surrey as well. And the pattern that I was going to start with was a mohair. I mean, this one's mohair too, and I'm using Surrey. Whatever. I bought mohair. I bought mohair for the one, and it's the waffle sweater that I wanted to make, and I'm going to put a picture up here. I'll link it down below, but it's the waffle sweater from Knitting for Olive, and so it's a beautiful sweater, and I'm really still wanting to make it. I bought the pattern, so I bought some of this yarn to use instead. It's a much lighter yarn. It is called a Loft from Knit Picks. It's a lace weight, and it's 72% Super Kid mohair, 28% silk, and I feel like the colorway is Palomino Heather. That's what it says on the label, and I don't see any other name, so I think that's what the name is. I don't remember. It sounds right. It's very pretty. It's not like a solid pink or anything. It's got some, it looks like purples and maybe a bit of yellows and grays and blues, and I think it'll look very nice in a sweater. So that is, I bought 11 of them. I hope that should be enough, because they are only 260 yards per little hank ball, whatever of it. It's 25 grams each, so they're not very large amount in each one. So I bought 11. So that's the first one. The second thing I bought from Knit Picks was some cotton yarn. It's a cotton mix. It's actually 70% cotton, 30% linen. The cotton says Tangius cotton. I don't know what kind of cotton that is. But I wanted to make a summer shirt with this. I'm not sure if I've settled on which one I want to make yet. I can't remember if I bought one or not, and I can't look it up right now. So if I did, a picture will go up here, a link will go down below. If I haven't, then I will hopefully have something decided by the next time we talk, and we can discuss that then. I'm not discussing it now anyways, because I don't remember. Anyways, this is Knit Picks' Cotton Lin DK weight. in the colorway Shoal, and it is 123 yards for 50 grams. So these are also pretty small. They're 50-gram ones. So I bought 10 of them to make sure that I have enough. I must have picked out a pattern because I wouldn't usually buy, 10 balls worth of yarn for no reason. I just can't remember what it was. So I bought 10 of them. It must be enough for the pattern. And it is a beautiful teal color, I would say, teal color. Yeah, so that's all I bought. Those are my acquisitions, and I'm hoping to at least start on the t-shirt project after my Cumulus blouse is done, which I do expect to have this done by next week or next time I talk with you guys. And hopefully even have this one started. That's the plan. And I also hope to have my Oslo hat done by the next time we see each other. And so that should be hopefully 2 more finished objects, maybe another couple pot holders, and then hopefully 1 or 2 more cast-ons. We'll see how my needle supply is, because that colorwork one is going to take a while. I just also wanted to mention that I'm probably going to have 2-week break in between this video and my next video, just the way that my work schedule is lined up for next week. It makes it very tricky for me to try to fit in a bit of recording time. So I think I'm going to have to skip next week for recording and come back after that. So 2 weeks is my goal for the next video. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.